Hey everybody, welcome back to Sergeant's Talk TV. Big Mike here.
Normal size Jason.
That's right. Hey, we got matchy shirts.
We matchy.
Except I ain't got the guns, to rip my sleeves off and stuff.
I'm hoping that by putting this on that it's gonna make the rain stop and maybe sun's out, guns out. It'll bring the sun out. It's not working.
Ain't gonna happen.
Oh,
And it is crazy. I had to mow. I've got tire marks all over my lawn. Oh shit. My phone is Bluetooth to my ears. I'm going, whoa. I know I turned off the sound over here. Hey, but we got a good one for you today. Hey, we're going to talk about top five secondary conditions to PTSD. All right. Everybody gets fixated on the big service-connected disabilities, PTSD, sleep apnea, lost my leg, whatever.
right.
Okay. But they don't understand, or do they know that there are secondary conditions caused by the primary condition that you can put a claim in for. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay. And guys, and this could be for anything. Tonight, we're just talking about those 5 things that are secondary to PTSD. Because a lot of soldiers have them. A lot of service members have them. Okay. And you can get PTSD from just about anything that your brain just can't deal with. Okay. And it doesn't have to be in war. It just has to happen when you are on active duty. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So how's your week been?
Soggy. Really soggy.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Oh,
Man, the chicken coop smells like, my gosh, that's nasty smell.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing is we're this weekend, Sunday, we're planning on butchering our meat birds. But it's been so muddy that I haven't even been able to move them around. And so I went and bought a whole bunch more bedding and just leaving it in there. But it's, a bag of bedding a day.
They got to be right.
It's getting pretty bad.
So, hey, let's see who's in the chat here. I know that earlier our overseas people came in this morning and gave us a thumbs up. There's Devil Dog.
Hoorah, Devil Dog.
All right.
I see Judy Herman saying hello to everybody.
There's our dear friend Denise McDonald. She's in the house.
And there's Debbie Drock saying hello, giving some wavy hands.
Howdy. Neil S. is in here.
And McAllister Homestead saying hello. Hello to you guys. Glad you can make it in.
And our gal down in Mississippi, Dana Mason. I'm sure Tim's not too far away from her. Let's see.
There's Linda Peterson.
And there's Scott Spencer. How you doing, Scott?
Glad you can make it in, brother.
And I guess that's it.
That's it. We got it easy.
We got 19 people in here, but that's who's commenting.
Right?
All right. Hey, if you're in here, don't just lurk. Tell us who you are. So, hey, Angie.
There she is.
Angie. All right. Our favorite VA nurse is in the house. We want to see everybody. Oh, man. I'm going to tell you something. Hey, big news around here. Our granddaughter, they were out at their above ground pool at their house. Kids are having a good time. Their dog runs off, and behind them's a big pasture and all that stuff. They live out in the country. And so the dog's over there barking and barking and barking. And my granddaughter's mom says, "Hey, go over there and get that dog." Because they have all the Oklahoma, the baby bunnies are everywhere right now. So she goes out there and the dog's barking at something. She thought it was a baby bunny. So she reaches down and moves the grass. My biggest fear happened. At first, she goes, "I don't know it was a snake." And she said it was a copperhead, and got her on the pinky. She got 2 fang marks on her pinky. Well, her hand started swelling up like she's got elephantitis, and it's starting to turn red and purple going up her arm. So her mom takes her over to the city of Colgate to their little hospital over there, and they said, "Hey, we can't take care of her. You need to take her to Children's Hospital in OKC, Oklahoma City." And she goes, "What?" So they said, "Wait, put her in the ambulance." They looked at their insurance and go, "Oh yeah, put her in the ambulance." I'm guessing that insurance company pays good. So hey, throw her in the ambulance. So they took her to Children's Hospital up in Oklahoma City. She was in there for a couple of days, and 44 vials later of antivenom. 44.
Wow.
And do you know what a vial of antivenom costs at the hospital? $3,100. And I'm going, hang on. A copperhead venom is not that toxic. It's toxic, but it doesn't work like that. Well, it was a rattlesnake. Okay. Ooh. And it nailed her, and her hand just looked like potatoes on the end of her hand and stuff, And they finally, after 44 vials, because what it does in humans, and I guess she's like really susceptible to it or whatever, is the clotting of your blood. They had to use some kind of syringe and force the blood into the syringe. It was so clotted up.
Wow.
And so 44 vials later, they finally got her white count, red count, whatever count is in your body to a manageable state where they could finally release her. So she came home last night, and Terry went and got her sister in Joplin, and then she went to OKC to see him. And then she brought her grandson home because he said, "Man, I don't want to stay up here no more. Grandma's got gaming systems. I want to go to Grandma's house." So he came down here, spent the time with us while they were up there dealing with all that stuff like that. And her stepdad is over in. He does personal protection. He's over in Israel right now. So,
wow.
Sure, he's freaking a little bit livid. So I'm going over there, and I'm going to brush hog all the way around their house because it's growing up. It's out of control because they basically have a house in the middle of a pasture. So
yeah, you got to keep that grass down.
Yeah, I said you got to at least see them coming. You can't go in there hunting for them. So, but she's doing a lot better, and it can be scary. Yeah, the white count. So yeah, and I knew when they said it took that much antivenom, it just can't be a copperhead because she's never been bit before. So usually when you're deathly allergic, like penicillin, you have to be introduced to it first, and your body's got to say, yeah, we don't like this stuff. Don't ever give it to us again. And the next time it happens, because my son, Kevin, we took him in there. They always give kids amoxicillin for ear infections and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, we went in there and they gave it to him, and it cleared it up. So he got it the next year. So he took him in there. I said, well, you gave him amoxicillin last time. Dude, they gave him that stuff again. And I'm going to tell you, probably within 2 minutes, his head looked like a basketball with just holes and stuff. His nose, I mean, it was so swollen up, it scared the heck out of me. And that's how we found out he was allergic to penicillin. So he can't have it.
And that's the hard part is it, like you said, it typically takes getting that before you find out you have the allergy to it. And, hopefully you're in the hospital when they give it to you in that situation where, oh, well, now we got to reverse it. But
yeah.
See, Pappy Smurf made it in.
Yay. All right.
Jason Schoen all the way in Calhoun, Kentucky.
All right. Let me see what I can do here.
Yeah, well, glad she's home, and hopefully there isn't, because I know one of the other things that's really bad with those snake bites, especially the venomous, is it start eating the tissue.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're worried about. Well, what happens is for her, after all that, you start getting cellulitis on your arm and stuff like that. So she has to go to a local doctor here for follow up and stuff like that. So yeah, and they said, well, that's the hospital that's got it, and they've got 50 vials of it, and she used 44. So that's why I know it probably most likely. Because I asked her, I said, she goes, no, it was like a brownish and light color. I said, so it wasn't like an orange and black and stuff. She goes, no. I said, because that's what a copperhead is.
Right.
And I've seen several out here when I'm mowing, and you know what? I chase them down with zero. Yeah. Making snake steaks.
I was a little interested today because I put the brush hog on the tractor because I had to mow, shorten my rocks and knock down a couple weeds. And so I do it and this morning up until probably 1 or 2 o'clock, we had a break in the rain, shockingly, but it's making up for it right now. And yeah, I was like, ooh boy, I better be careful because that brush hog's been sitting all winter in the same spot, over on the edge of the woods.
Yeah.
And shockingly enough, nothing come out. So I don't know if it's just because it's been so wet, which it was dry. That's what I was kind of surprised at, was even though it was sitting on the ground, the ends are open and the water can still run underneath everything.
Yeah. Well, we do know one thing, that it is snake season and they're hungry. And Perry has taken several out of our hen house. So they're out there. Now, I get it, black snakes and rat snakes, and they're good, but not around me. You know that. I scream like a girl, okay? Because I told you the story that one time about that sand viper in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah.
I stepped on that sucker. He came out of the sand. You can't outrun one of those. Not in the sand. Homeboy's got you. Okay. And I could just feel them. Yeah, and they're big 7-footers. They're some big boys.
Wow.
They will get you. But yeah. So that's the big thing right now. Did breed the rabbits. The rabbit is bred. She's 31 days from now. We'll have some kits in the pen and raise them up and get them in the freezer as fast as we can.
Yeah, we've got 5 brand new ones in there right now with her.
I'm looking for a new doe because mine is probably 6 years old now, and I'm thinking that I gotta find me a doe, and then just let her live her life out and keep feeding her, and yeah, she's a great mama.
Well, I
Great
know
mama.
David and all them are closer than we are. They've got them, but we have 4 that we moved over that we're going to keep as breeders, because we were just over at Tilted K because we've swapped with them. And when ours got 8 last year, luckily we had swapped with them. So we just got another buck back from them, young buck, hadn't been bred yet. And then I still need to check them 4. We haven't sexed them yet. I just moved them over. They were in together, but that same mama just gave us 5 more.
Mm-hmm.
So, because she's getting on the back burner, slowing down. She only gave us 4 and then gave us these 5. But normally she was putting out, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Because I think she's slowing down because her last kidding was she only 2, but one was huge and the other one was real small. I mean, they caught up to each other later on, but she only had 2, and she was used to doing 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So I think she's slowing down. I bred her again just to make sure, and but we're gonna have to go to another doe. She's getting up there in age. Hey, Ray Castillo, how are you doing?
Oh, your Sergeant Major made it in. She got the chickens put up.
Oh wow, Neil says can't do rabbit, but I have over 70 chickens. We got 44 laying hens, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roosters, and I got to process those roosters. I got way too many roosters. I wanted to keep one of the zombie roosters, and because I'm still looking for an AM Samani hen to breed him back to see what happens, because somehow the gene does not get passed on. The black gene doesn't get passed on to roosters. And every rooster that's been born is solid white. And the hens are all the markings of a zombie chicken. So that's the only reason I want to keep. I haven't butchered the roosters. And the roosters, we just use those roosters for like soups and enchiladas and stuff like that because they're just tougher than all get out. So.
Yeah, that's when we get them. I know, which right now we only have the one rooster.
Yeah,
we've been debating and talking about because there's a couple of the hens that'll act like I don't know if they're gonna go full broody, but they're acting like they could. So we're talking about maybe grabbing one of them and putting them over in our little Mini Cooper and let them hatch out some more. But we end up canning them because it retenderizes it and makes them not tough. Because unless you want to do the slow cooker, like you said, do it that way, or canning them.
Hey, Nona, how are you doing?
Nona,
welcome in.
There's RNF.
Hey, you know that we are 3 subscribers away from 1,500.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I said, wow, we're only 3 away. So who wants to be number 1,500? Hey, it's up for bids.
Right.
So yeah.
There only gets to be 1,500.
So let's get into this, okay? In this discussion, like I said earlier, we're going to talk about some of the top secondary conditions to PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. on a secondary basis. So what this means is something has to be related on a secondary basis. So what that means is, let's say you have PTSD, okay? And because you have PTSD, of course, in this case, while it's the primary condition to your service connection disability, you have other things that what they call is secondary. For example, chronic headaches, erectile dysfunction because of the medication that they're giving you for that. You've developed sleep apnea because of that, because sleep apnea could actually kill you, okay, in the long run, and things like that. So these are secondary to the primary condition. So like I said, developing a secondary condition could be anything from headaches, erectile dysfunction, to sleep apnea. And there is a myriad of conditions, but they must be connected to the veteran's primary service-connected disability. Now, you could take this for anything, okay? You could have arthritis. Secondary to arthritis is you have to have your knee replaced, okay? And so on and so forth. You may not have had bad knees in the military, but because you had arthritis, like some of us, but they still don't give it to you. They're going to make me hire a lawyer for this one. So, because for some reason they tried to say, well, wait, you have degenerative disc disease, but that's in your back. That is your whole body, because I have no tissues in my knees. It's all bone on bone. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to hire somebody. And so that's what a secondary is. Primary, and it's causing this over here. That would be your secondary.
Yeah, so the first one that we'll talk about and reach, Mike was kind of giving you a quick list of them, was the headaches. Tension headaches, or the migraines, or just non-specific generalized headaches. Now, a lot of veterans, they'll have the headaches before the PTSD, but then when they get diagnosed, or not even diagnosed, when they develop the symptoms, and they're having the PTSD symptoms, it might make them more intense, make it more frequent, and kind of it amps it up. Like, so you may have I've always had headaches, I don't think anything about it, but if you noticed, okay, hey, now, like, they diagnosed me with a PTSD, I'm having some of these other symptoms, you might notice, and then that's where it can become the secondary is, well, now my headaches are worse. I used to have them once a month, now it's once a week, or
so yeah, I think a lot of times they put you on medications and stuff like that to control your thought process or whatever they give you, and then when it starts wearing off, because it's a foreign substance in your body, one of the big things is service members have complained about is intense migraines when they're coming down. So then they pop another pill.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they pop another pill. Well, if they don't have it with them, and there's some way migraines can be, they can bring you to your knees,
Oh, yeah.
So,
and that's why, like, I'm always a big proponent, especially, not just veterans, but everybody, but more so the veterans, because it seems like the VA is their quickest answer to you is, hey, take this medicine for this, take this.
Yeah.
but do your research on that medication before you start taking it, because
Yeah.
a lot of times, I mean, just watch TV, right? You see the commercials and they're like, hey, we'll cure this condition, but the side effects from that medicine are probably worse than the main condition as it is.
Yeah.
Or like for me, I watch it. Obviously, I have Tara. I'm very blessed that my wife is very knowledgeable with this stuff and knows the sources to go look at and look it up. You know, they have like, there's one of the medications, I don't remember what the name of it is now, but it's a psychotic med.
Yeah.
You know, they put on for and they want to give it to me for pain management.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that I'm like, I don't, you know, so I come home, ask her about it, and yeah, the effects, it's not that it helps your pain management, it's that it rewires your brain.
Yeah.
It's an antipsychotic med. And they're like, well, they're not hurting as much. Well, of course they're not. You didn't fix anything. You just covered it up with something else.
Yeah. Q Pharmaceutical. Better life, Q Pharmaceuticals. I think that's the motto somewhere on some plaque in the VA.
Oh, it has to be, yeah.
It's somewhere. Okay. So the next one is sexual dysfunction disorders, erectile dysfunction, or with females, sexual arousal type disorders. These can often be related to not only the stress and emotional component of PTSD, but oftentimes the medications that veterans are prescribed to treat these conditions. So one of the most common medications that are subscribed, or medication categories, are the priestess that are prescribed for PTSD are called serotonins. Serotonins, or selective serotonins, reuptake inhibitors, are medications like Zoloft, also referred to as sertraline, Celexa, Paxil, and Prozac. These medications are known to have side effects that can cause sexual dysfunction. So there is, I mean, I'm a guy. I don't know the ins and outs of sexual dysfunctions for women, nor do I claim to be an expert on it in any way. But there is. I've been reading about all this stuff, and the I guess, I mean, when I was a kid, doctors used to prescribe Prozac to moms that were just stressed out. Okay, my mom had 7 kids that she had to feed, clothe, and house. Okay, on a nurse's assistant salary. And so she was taking Prozac way back then, or some sort type of it. So it can actually, you know, the depression that comes with PTSD, and then I'm guessing that if somebody out there can help me, the Prozac brings you down, and it can put you in a state of depression also, but not the same type. Okay. So popping pills, number one, not good for you. And I call them downers. So they bring you down off the ledge from your PTSD. But on the other hand, how does taking these drugs affect your married life? Okay. How does it affect your intimacy with your partner and stuff like that? Is a big problem. Okay. Number one, you're taking all this stuff and you can get headaches. You can have some kind of sexual dysfunction, on and on and on in the side effects. And you see it on these commercials. I'm a big proponent is they should stop It's like selling cigarettes. Remember when they banned you can't have a commercial selling cigarettes and all this other stuff, and now you can't. You can do a alcohol commercial, but if you really watch the alcohol commercials, they're not allowed to drink during the commercial. Or if they do it, they have to ensure the FCC is like if it's a Grey Goose for vodka or whatever, that the alcohol inside the glass is not alcohol. But I was told that you can't drink alcohol in a commercial. So watch those commercials. And they're not supposed to be drinking. Even if it was water, you're simulating you're drinking alcohol and stuff like that. So, and the same thing, they got to take these drug commercials off because people are becoming their own doctors. And they don't know what the hell they're doing because they said, oh, I want to do this, but they didn't research it. And what are the side effects of all this stuff? I mean, I don't want to run around and say, hey, I'm taking medication for my PTSD, but I got anal leakage out the ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
literally,
I'll take whatever condition it is, as long as it doesn't involve anal seepage. I'm good. Like
exactly. Because you hear him, he goes, oh, the side effects can be this. It's longer than what the drug actually helps with. And you're like going, what the heck? It's crazy. Why would you take this? But then it's like sending everybody over to WebMD and stuff like that. And, they're all paid off anyway by the drug companies anyway. So it's crazy. And when you're doping up a soldier or a veteran to get those thoughts out of their head, and you're doing damage in a different kind of way. That's the way I look at it. So
and then that was my big proponent of trying to limit the amount of meds that I do take. And any time that they try to say, well, we're going to change something or we're going to put you on something different, my first answer is if she's not in the appointment with me, then I bring home that paperwork and, hey, this is what they said they're going to try to send. And she'll give me the yay or nay or, hey, whether we're good, because like, I don't know enough about medical, but I know enough that there are certain things you take them for a long enough time, it's going to cause other issues, even though it's, it's giving you pain and relief, but it's going to, shut your kidneys down or your liver or all these other different things that
make your brain greasy.
Yeah. I'd already told him about the trying to give me psych meds for back pain. Like it just didn't make sense. So yeah, it definitely out of anything, that if you take anything from tonight, I mean, we still got more stuff to cover, is research your medications. Don't just believe the commercial. Don't believe the first article you find on, Google. Like look at other sources and a lot of people understand that doctors, but some don't, that they're in the pocket of pharmaceuticals. They'll push you anything.
Freaking devil dog.
Yeah, I'd seen his. Although
devil dog is living birth control.
Well, he shaved. I haven't seen him recently to see how much it's growing back, but then he shaved his beard off and looked totally different. So
yeah, he was walking around like a human tumbleweed there for a while.
Yeah. So another thing looking at this as secondaries, right, guys, is the gastrointestinal disorders.
Yeah.
So they're often related to PTSD and depression anxiety. So IBS, the irritable bowel syndrome, and GERD are a couple of the conditions that they see frequently. And that's probably the most common that I've heard of people having them. And research has demonstrated that the stress acts on the emotional limbic system and can lead to increased release of something hormone and cortisol, which then influence the enteric nervous system, resulting in the symptoms of IBS. Yeah. And those are the words why I'm not in the medical field. Yeah.
Yeah, and we couldn't say that word if we even wanted to.
Yeah, no, they used a lot of the alphabet in it. I know that.
Yeah.
Here, hold on. Let me see. Okay, babe, what is that? We'll see if nursing school can help.
Adrenocorticotropic.
Yep, nope. See, even nursing school didn't help with that one. They just used all the
Hey, I
alphabet.
got it right. It took me a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so going back to that with the whole IBS, and then like I am diagnosed with the GERD and the acid reflux, in causing that like to your body, right? There's times that it's almost PTSD worthy in itself.
Yeah.
Having those flare ups to where um, before I got on medication, it was horrible. Waking up with the pain in the middle of the night and then having to go eject everything out because
Yeah.
you're getting stomach acid and all that kind of stuff in there. And there was, I was like, I don't know what else to do. I've tried everything, and I finally got on medication that helps with it. But I know, like, I've got some pretty close friends with IBS, and that's trauma in itself because it's hard for them to go to even a cookout, unless they're comfortable at whoever's place they're doing the cookout at, because their first thing of planning isn't what food or who's going to be there. It's where's the closest bathroom. Like,
Yeah.
and is it clean and serviceable? Can I get there in time? That one, I think that alone just gives you PTSD.
Yeah.
Not even just
Exactly.
secondary.
And I mean, then compounded with the PTSD, with IBS, the medication that you're taking.
Yep.
Okay. And are you eating right after you take the medication? Because I was reading that some of these medications, it just absolutely ruins your appetite, and people drop a lot of weight when they're on those kind of drugs. And but and then in some cases, just and we'll talk about it, is the basically overeating, and that's just, I mean, there's so many side effects that PTSD comes along with. So, and the next one is we talked about earlier. Number 4 is sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is a controversial one. A lot of veterans are service connected for this, and there are a lot of veterans apply for this and denied repeatedly. Um, we did a show on sleep apnea. If you want the details on that, go back to that video where we talked about all the signs, the symptoms, and all that stuff, and things that you need to do to either be cleared of sleep apnea or to get help for sleep apnea. However, many conditions can be caused by sleep apnea, like headaches. I get those because I have sleep apnea. You have sleep apnea. Um, let's see. Possible PTSD can be developed from sleep apnea, while if you have PTSD, can cause sleep apnea. Okay, with aggravation. I mean, if you don't get enough sleep, after a while, you can just be a royal ass.
Like me.
Okay, anything can set you off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you don't get a right amount of sleep. Now, I haven't slept right since 1990, 1991. And like my doctor said, man, you're lucky you're still alive. But, I don't go into that REM sleep. And then when I did my sleep study, and she goes, dude, you never hit REM sleep. And she goes, and this is your 5th one. And she went back and looked at the other one. She goes, you don't ever reach REM sleep. How do you function? I'm just used to it,
Yeah.
you know. And when I got my when and then have come to find out, I can't have a full mask on my face. I rip it off in the middle of the night. They're supposed to be shipping me the ones that up in your nose holes and stuff like that, because I guess I get claustrophobic and I just rip everything off. And then, however, it is all based on fragmentation of sleep and abnormalities of REM, rapid eye movement. These issues can cause disruption, um, hypotonia,
That'd be my guess.
hypotonia of the upper airway, which can lead to physiological obstruction or, yeah,
Yep.
man, these physiological obstructions resulting in obstructive sleep apnea. And that's what I have. It's where that soft palate falls back, and you basically become a mouth breather. And then your throat dries out so bad that you freaking sit there and choke to death.
Well, yeah, and that's how mine is too. It's the obstructive where it cuts your airway off, and then you can't reach REM because you're literally choking yourself out when you're trying to sleep. Once your body starts to relax enough, it cuts the airway off. And I'm hoping for your sake that the nose thing will work for you. I tried the nose one at first because I also was concerned about having a full mask and how am I going to sleep. I tried the nose only at first, and I found out I was definitely a mouth breather.
Yeah.
Because it only works on the nose one if you never open your mouth during the night.
Yeah.
The minute you open your mouth, it goes straight in your nose and out your mouth, and you're choking yourself out. You're not getting any air into your lungs. I kind of used it as a party trick the first couple of days. I'm like, look at this, but it didn't let me sleep. So I had to go to the full mask one.
I did see that where the VA is now looking into those things where they put some kind of implant under your skin.
Yeah.
And you use your cell phone and you go to your app and you app yourself to sleep. So yeah, they're looking at those. But I'm going to tell you something that, again, you could have sleep apnea as your primary, and then your secondaries is your chronic headaches, okay, your migraines, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of symptoms of sleep apnea, but in this case, PTSD and the medication you're taking can bring on the sleep apnea, and then sleep apnea becomes your secondary. Now, if it is a secondary, when I looked it up in the 32, which is all the definitions and claims and all that stuff for any kind of illness, sickness, injury, and stuff like that for the VA, you could definitely end up with a secondary to that, as I just stated before. So, yeah, and sleep apnea will absolutely, it can kill you, you know?
All right, so number 5, our final component is weight gain. Any condition that can be caused by weight gain. Conditions that might arise due to weight gain can be things like plantar fasciitis, coronary artery disease, hypertension, sleep apnea, or diabetes. If you have PTSD and you have developed compensatory coping mechanisms to include things like binge eating or emotional eating related to your stress, or perhaps you have agoraphobia, and
Yeah.
you don't like to go outside because it is, or you don't like to go to specific places that are crowded, like the gym, because of some of the symptoms related to your PTSD. You also may get anxious by crowds. You just stay home and don't like to leave the house. It's very common in many veterans. So that, coupled with perhaps some emotional eating things, that contribute to your weight gain.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, if you're taking the medication and you get to the point because of your PTSD that I never want to leave my house, I don't like being in crowds, or none of that stuff, and you become basically a shut-in, if you will. And then on top of all that, because you're so clinically depressed, that you're just, shoveling it in. It isn't because your thyroid, it's not because of whatever, it's because you're just shoveling stuff in and you're finding comfort within sweets or chocolates or,
Well, and
instead
I think a big
of buying a small ravioli, you go to Walmart and you get the family pack and you're just sitting there shoveling it in.
And I've seen it quite a bit, with personal people that I know, of it turns into where when they can't deal with the crowds, so they don't go grocery shopping. So it means all of their food is drive-throughs. It's fast food, the processed, or something they can have delivered. Like they're not going into the grocery store to buy, stuff that they can cook, because they're like, I have to people. I don't want to people, or they can't handle peopling. I mean, I've seen some cases where it's pretty extreme, where they'll utterly refuse. So their only option is where they can go get food that they don't have to get out of their car, or they have something delivered. And those things alone are gonna just cause major weight gain.
Yeah. And we're not talking about those couples that don't know how to cook because mama never taught you how to cook and you use DoorDash like it's, you're in a restaurant every single day. But I had a nephew that I think he was up around 400 pounds and he was just clinically depressed and he didn't like to go nowhere. In fact, he had a YouTube channel where he would paint his big belly and he would do the dancing thing with music and stuff. He had like 400,000 subscribers. And then for some reason, he finally sought help, abandoned his YouTube channel. And that's where he was making all his income, was on that YouTube channel. And now wouldn't even recognize him now because he got help. And that's the key. Let's say you put on like 150 to 200 pounds. Okay. Now, when I left the military, I was 232 pounds. Dude, I was lean, mean. I could run a 2-mile run in like 13:45. And it was just, I felt the best that I could. And then I knew I had to get out because I couldn't give it 100%. So I retired because I had a foot injury and I couldn't hardly run no more. Every time I ran, it felt like my foot was splitting apart because they removed all the neuromas on my toes because I had just busted them things. And so I started, I think right now I'm at 300. I went to the VA the other day. I'm right at 300. So over 25 years, I've gained 68 pounds over the last 25 years. But it's talking about when you're putting on a crap ton of weight. Let's say you're 200 and you put on 200 pounds. There's a problem. Yeah. Okay. At 400 pounds. And number one, you might be a shut-in. You wear jogging clothes rather than regular clothes, because they do make some big stretchy stuff. So those are the things that you need to be concerned with. And if you've got PTSD and you're gaining massive amounts of weight and stuff like that, and you don't feel like going to the gym, or you don't even feel like going walking because your weight's got so out of hand that it hurts just to walk. And we're not talking about you can end up with bad knees, you can end up with bad feet, and you might have 2 hip replacements. Man, that sounds freaking familiar. Those are the things that they're talking about. Things like arthritis in your knees, all that extra weight on your body, maybe you're carrying around, coronary artery disease. Your cholesterol is out of freaking control. Okay. I remember years ago when I was married to a German woman. I lived in Germany for 16 years, and I was eating all their food over there, and it is just packed with, I went in there for a checkup, and they said, "Hey, you haven't had a checkup in a while. You need to do a physical." So I did a physical, and my cholesterol was 397. And I said, "Well, what can we do?" He goes, "Well, I can put you on a pill," or he goes, "What's your favorite mixed drink?" I said, "I like a 7 and 7. He goes, "Get you the biggest glass in your house, put half of it with Seagram's and 7 Up in the other half, and just sit on the couch, watch your favorite show, and get ready to die." And then I go, "Whoa." He goes, "That's how bad you are." And sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom, So some people develop hypertension, and then you're on blood pressure medicine. And getting off blood pressure medicine after a while is a hard thing on your body to wean you off of blood pressure medicine. So all that. And then let's say, hey, on top of all that, I'm bored, so I'm smoking 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes a day, eating a family-sized lasagna, DoorDash and Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm pounding those down because it makes me feel good. And then all of a sudden I look at myself and I'm going, what in the hell is going on? And you finally get help. But again, you can't just go in there and say, "Hey, I'm getting fat. It's secondary to whatever I got." Okay. You can't just do that. You've got to have a primary diagnosis, and being overweight is not a service-connected thing that you can petition for. But because I'm doing these things, like right now, I can never run again. Okay, I can never run again. So if I gain weight, is that secondary to the hip replacements and then later on the knee replacements? I don't know. We got to find out. But gaining weight and having sleep apnea and having PTSD and having headaches and having hypertension and all those things, man, again, find your favorite drink, sit on the couch, and just wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I think the big
about it.
Yeah, the big commonality between a lot of them, and I think especially when it comes to like food-related weight gain, but even some of the other symptoms, is the mental health stress that can be more taxing on your body physically than actually going to the gym or working out or doing something like that. Like, it is more tiring to deal with the mental health issues.
Yeah.
And that's where, when you go in and you want to talk to your doctor, be like, oh, well, this is a secondary because I'm gaining all this weight. No. And if you've got a doctor that's worth their grain in salt, they're going to know, okay, well, now you need to go down the hallway and talk to the wizard. Like, we're going to set you up some appointments, and you've got to start looking at the mental health aspect of it. Which does it puts a lot of people in that vicious circle. You eat all the time, right? Like, I eat because I'm fat, but I'm fat because I eat, and I'm sad. It causes, it's one of those, like, right? I'm going to eat my emotions away, but I'm eating because my emotions are like, and it's that cycle that makes it really, really hard. And it's with any condition. We're just talking in this case with the whole PTSD and the eating, or even some of the other ones. I mean, the like acid reflux and GERD, or even sleep apnea. I mean, I went a long time never having issues sleeping. Grab me the nearest rock and I'm out, like, call it a day. And now I would rather stay up for an extended period of time, vice try to sleep without my CPAP.
Yeah.
It's that devastating, because if I try to sleep, even if I take an accidental nap on the couch and I don't have it, I feel horrible.
Yeah. Now, I do sleep better in the recliner setting halfway up, in a recliner. I do sleep better that way, but I always wake up with a headache.
Yeah.
Always wake up with a headache when I do that, because I can pass out and I'm out for 3 hours because I'm not getting REM sleep when I'm supposed to get REM sleep.
Yeah.
I could be there. I could be reading an email on my phone. Next thing I know, I said, whoa, I fell asleep. Terry goes, yeah, you've been asleep for 2 hours. I'm going, holy smokes. Because if I'm sitting straight up, I can go like this and I'm out. But when I'm laying down, even with 2 pillows under my head, I still don't get that REM sleep. And I've had 5 sleep studies. And like the doctor told me, they said, your sleep apnea, is the reasons you get headaches. Your sleep apnea is why you're always exhausted. Your sleep apnea screws with your hypertension. Your sleep apnea screws with your weight. Your sleep apnea screws with your diabetes. You know what I mean? She goes, people with all these things, sleep apnea the list goes on and on and on, that you not getting REM sleep is, like I said, it will kill you. So, maybe I'm lucky. I'll be 65 in January, that I made it this long, but it's been it's been longer than 25 years since I've had a good night's sleep, because I was on active duty when they diagnosed me with sleep apnea.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back in 1991, after I got back from the Gulf War. And because I came home and all of a sudden I got punched in the chest while I was sleeping, and I wake up and my wife says, what the hell is that? I go, what are you talking about? You never snored before. And she goes, man, you're like ripping the paint off the walls. I go, wow. She goes, but it's weird, because you're like going, you're sleeping there, and you're, you're making these grunting sounds like a pig, and like you're choking to death. Like someone's got you by the throat and they're choking you out. She goes, that's what it sounds like. And I'm going, wow. And that's ever since 1991. So it's more than 25 years that I haven't had a good night's sleep now. And then I said, well, what if I take a sleeping aid? She said, do not take a sleeping aid. You want to wake yourself up because you stop breathing. Now, if you take a sleeping aids and it puts you under and you can't wake back up.
Yeah, that was the scary part when I went and did my first test. But before I could get in to get the sleep study, they had put me on Ambien. Because I went in and I said, Doc, I don't know what it's gonna take. Do whatever. Give me the switch that I can flip in the back of my head. Like, I need to turn my brain off. I could come home from work and sit on the couch, and like you said, I'd be out 2-3 hours like a rock, just perfect.
Yeah.
But then it's time to go to bed to sleep for the night, wide awake, couldn't do it. And so they put me on the Ambien. And of course they're like, hey, take this, go right to bed, don't do anything else. Like, let your wife know, don't go anywhere, don't do anything. And I was really good at it. Luckily, I didn't have some of the bad episodes I've seen of it, happening. But as soon as I got that sleep study done, that doctor had called, I think within a day or two, and was like, okay, well, come in, you're getting fitted, and stop taking the Ambien. Like, you're done with that.
So Angie's right. That when I was at 397, that's a heart attack on a plate. And I did something about it. I did take the medication and stuff like that. And I think my last blood work, because you have a LDL and an HDL. And I think the HDL is your good cholesterol and the LDL is your bad cholesterol, or could be vice versa, whatever. But that was my bad cholesterol. And now they're saying, hey, you might want to watch your cholesterol because you came in at 92. Okay. I'm going, oh, but isn't that good? Well, you still need, some of that in your diet and stuff like that, but you're going down because whatever reason. And so it's bad. Devil Dog said his cholesterol was at 5,000. Oh my God.
Oh.
Denise says her cholesterol is 223. It was much higher 6 months ago. I didn't change anything except they put me on blood pressure meds for my hypertension, high blood pressure. Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. Cholesterol will kill you. You'll wake up with a stent in your heart or someplace because you have a total blockage. It's like rust in an old pipe.
Yeah.
That's what cholesterol does. And then all of a sudden, one of those little chunks of rust breaks off and it goes to your brain or it goes to your heart. And then you're going to get the bonus package at the hospital or the morgue, one of the two.
Right. You're getting a ride on a gurney, just not sure if you're going upstairs or downstairs.
Oh, wow. They wanted to keep me overnight and give me a stent or open heart surgery. Yeah. They got to clean the pipes out, dude. Yeah. They got those things where they send something up a vein, like in your crotch, and they can go all the way up there and they have to, like a rotor-rooter.
Yeah. That was when we were in Tennessee last year. That was actually a procedure they tried for her dad's heart because his arteries were so blocked. And they thought they went up one side and it was blocked and so hard they couldn't even get through it. So they went ahead and went in the other side and couldn't get in there either.
Yeah.
So like they
didn't have no beds up in heaven?
He just didn't want guard duty. That's
yeah.
what it was. He said, no gate duty for me.
Ooh, triple bypass. High cholesterol and smoking. Yeah. Yeah. Smoking, high cholesterol. Yeah, that'll kill you. Then you'll get a thing called hardening of the arteries. Yeah. And your arteries just become brittle and stuff, and then you die. So yeah, stop smoking, everybody. Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's rough when you're going to the VA for those, because he did that at the VA, and it's hard enough to get in there the first time, and then when they try to bring you in a second.
Yeah, that's what it's called, angiogram. Yeah. Well, I went in there and I did. What was that thing they did of my heart? Oh, she's not even in there. No, it wasn't an EKG. It was like It wasn't a sonogram. It was
The echocardiogram.
Yeah, an echo, and they were all over my heart and stuff like that. And they just said something about the lower part, but just keep your blood pressure under control. But it's because of age too, your lower ventricle or whatever. I don't know. They said that's just shit's getting worn out.
We'd like to call you,
buddy. They say, "Oh, that comes with age." I'm at the point where everything comes with age. I'm like, "Oh, dude."
The warranty, but hey, the thing is, I mean, you're slowly but surely becoming a bionic man, so all your parts are still under warranty. It's just,
Well, the good thing is the hips are good.
A little.
The hips are certified for 25 years. So I got at least 25 more years on planet Earth. And then when they do my knees, I'm just thinking, because I told Terry, I said, just take me, burn my body, put me in an urn, stick me somewhere. And if you want to come visit me, whatever. And I said, and when they do that, make sure you keep the hips and stuff, because it might be worth some money later on. You can cash it in at the junkyard.
You're like, what are you doing? Are you donating this to science?
Well, because they're made out of what is it? Titanium. They're made out of titanium. You could make a whole bunch of wedding rings out of that stuff and sell it at the flea market.
You're partway there to Iron Man. You just got to get
my knees. That's going to be my nick. I'm going to change from Big Mike to I am Iron Man. But I want to do it the way Ozzy did it on the album Paranoia, Iron Man. And do you know, this is way off subject, but when we were in the desert, every time we LD'd, went on a mission, my driver had a CD player wired in to the vehicle, and we always played Iron Man every time.
Nice. Yeah, we had a couple vehicles that we were able to wire some radio systems in onto, so that we weren't just hearing all the normal comm chatter. We could just blast music in the vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, my hips have 25 more years. Yeah, thank you. I must have said it wrong. She catches everything I say. She fact checks me, guys. She fact checks me. Even on Morning Talk with Mike, fact check. 13. Okay. It wasn't 12, it was 13 or whatever. Yeah. She'll correct me. I got a good woman. Wow, Scott.
Yeah, quadruple bypass in August of 2019 and 4 more heart attacks and 5 stents by January. And you know what? I mean, yeah, he's a little bit slower, but I mean, we see him quite often. He gets around great. Like, he was out when we were helping Tilted K build their house, and Scott was out there every single day. And, the thing was, he knew when to take a break, and hey, take a break, do that, hey, get a little rest. But that dude's a machine.
Yeah. I need to fish more. They say fishing puts years on your body. So I need to go fishing more often.
Yeah, more than once a year. That's pretty much That's my extent anymore. I'm like, hey, we're supposed to retire and go fishing, and I go once a year.
I got this big old boat out there, and I can't even put my leg over the side of it to get in the damn thing now. I got to work on that because, I mean, I feel so at peace, out there on the boat and fishing and stuff like that. Maybe I should have bought a pontoon so I can just walk on the damn thing.
I was just about to tell you, hey, you know what? It's just time. You got to.
I'm at the age of pontoon is for senior citizens.
You know what? I'm not even close to senior citizen, and I will take a pontoon over a bass boat or any kind of fishing boat all day long.
Yeah,
they're so universal. If you want to go out and just relax on the lake, go. If not, if you want to go fishing.
If you get tired, you can just put a cot up or you can sleep on one of the couches.
Right.
Yeah.
Get the bimini tops on them. You're covered. Like, everyone thought I was crazy when we were in Michigan and I got my first pontoon. And I'm like, no, I love them. But I was the same guy that it's the first time I went and bought a minivan. And I was excited about going to get one, having all the kids and all that stuff. I was like, I'll keep driving a minivan. I give the soccer mom vibe and all your shit talking. I don't care. Like, I'm getting good gas mileage and I'm comfortable. Like,
yeah.
And I can load, 4 kids and half the dang house in the thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's 9/11. I want to thank everybody for coming in. I hope this information was to get you thinking about what your service connections are and look at your total health and if they are connected in a secondary manner to what your primary service connections are. Get you thinking because you never know. The VA is not going to say, hey, wait a minute. Do you have headaches? Do you have this? No, you have to work for everything that you get from the VA. I read the other day that they were like 1 million claims behind. And I thought Doug said, oh, we're clearing more cases than ever before. No. And there were some people going to prison in Puerto Rico because they were doing scam claims over in Puerto Rico, and their adjudicator was helping them out. And yeah, there's some people going to jail for falsified claims and stuff like that. So, and of course, if you're a VSO and you're in the mix with all that with a couple of other VSOs, yeah, they're all going to jail. So make sure you're right. Make sure you got your documentation. Make sure you go to the doctor. Get them to write it up and make them say, hey, your whatever is directly caused by boom, whatever that primary diagnosis was on your.
And that could be, I actually, right before here, and I'll answer Eddie's question, Devil Dog. The 5th one out of the ones that you wrote on there was the gastroenterology conditions, the acid reflux, the GERD. But I was actually just having a conversation probably 2 hours before we went live with one of my brothers that I hadn't talked to in a while. Called him, talked to his wife, and found out how they were doing. But that the secondaries, especially if you're looking at increasing a claim or even doing the initial, a lot of times the increases are going to come from those secondaries.
Yeah.
Like we chose the secondaries to PTSD tonight, but a lot of other conditions, like you said, I mean, you can see and it'll go back and forth. Maybe that one is causing PTSD or your PTSD. So definitely push on those secondary conditions that'll develop from the original diagnosis.
Exactly. And there is a lot of VSOs that have channels. All you have to do is go into and search, just put VA, and then all these VA channels, to include the VA, can give you or help you give directions. And I ask a couple of them all the time questions before we go live and stuff like that. And they respond right back to me and say, hey, this, and that. And oh, by the way, if you want to increase yours, I can help you, because that's their side hustle now. Okay. After 20, one guy was 25 years as a VSO. And he has his own channels, wrote his own book. And yeah, he's got it all. He's smart. So yeah, check all those channels out. Check all the channels, read up on your medications, read up on your, and make sure you get a copy of your medical records so you can double check them when they deny you and you go, hey, right here. All right. So guys, we want to thank you guys for coming in. I want to thank everybody that has subscribed to our channel. I think before we started, we were 3 shy of 1,500. And I didn't think it was going to go this quick. We're already monetized. If you want to be a member of Sergeant's Talk TV, there is a membership that you can do. And all the money that we make off of this channel goes to the McAllister Homeless Shelter. It has a VA, not a VA, but a veterans section for homeless veterans. And that's where the money for this goes to, when and if we make money off of it, whatever. But number one thing is, besides us trying to help you with information, you guys help us and we help each other, because this is good for us. Both staying connected with your brothers and sisters is always a blessing. And if you're a parent, if you're a child of a veteran, if you're a widow of a veteran, if you're a Gold Star family member, everybody's welcome in here. And if you just wanted to learn about the military, hey, we'll answer any question anytime, because between two crusty veterans, we've got an answer. May not be the one you want to hear, but we got an answer. We can come up with something. And we'll always do our homework if you ask us a question, because a lot of people do ask us questions in the comments and stuff like that. Or they email us, and our emails are in the description if you need to reach out. If you're a veteran and you just want to sit and you want to talk to somebody, contact me or Jason, and we would be more than happy to get a hold of you and have a conversation if you need one. So that's why we're here. Vets helping vets. Just remember that slogan right there. Yeah. So, hey, guys, first of all, I want to say be kind to one another, help somebody in need, and always, always think of that. I say that every single time. I truly mean that. And, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Any closing remarks, brother?
Reiterating what you said, thank all of you for coming in here, supporting us, letting us do our thing and vent and talk, right? Pick some subjects that we still, this lets us serve our purpose now that we're not active duty anymore. Right. This is our best way of helping support our brother and sisters in arms. Doesn't matter the branch, doesn't matter the service, doesn't, how long they were in, whether it was active, reserve, any of that kind of stuff. It's therapy for all of us, and much appreciated. And if you want cool shirts like Big Mike and I, now I'll precursor it. If you want them custom, you got to customize them yourself. You can't get the pre-cut sleeves. But
no, we do have but they're more expensive. Do you know that they're more expensive with no sleeves?
Really? See, and I've always been like, so we were talking about this at the last meetup, was like even our merch shirts, they're like, hey, do you pre-cut any of them? I'm like, no. Like, I cut mine for me because this is the shape and the way that I want it done. I've tried to buy pre ones, and they end up coming out to where they're like shoulder pads, and I don't like how they wear.
Yeah.
But you guys can get these MT Homestead at their page, right there, guys.
Yep.
Where's the glare? You go in there, and all the Sergeant's Talk TV merch is available on their bonfire, right?
It's on Streamlabs. Our merch store is on Streamlabs. It's on our About page. You can go there. It'll say merch store or whatever it'll say. And you can go in there and check it out. We've got coffee cups. We've got T-shirts. And, have at it. I was happy. I seen several people wearing Sergeant Talk TV T-shirts at the Mid-America. So,
there would have been more if the mail lady was a little quicker.
Yep. So anyway, guys, hey, we love you. God bless you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye now.